to my YouTube channel. My name is Hope and I am a senior portrait and wedding photographer serving both Charleston and Savannah, and this YouTube channel is where I share education for photographers as well as a little bit of a peek into my life living in the Low Country. And today's video is going to be kind of fun because I think it's going to be really valuable and educational, but also kind of like a business and life update. I'm sharing 5 things that I am changing in my senior portrait business right now in 2022, halfway through 2022. So kind of an interesting time for me to be making some shifts and some changes, but I am, and I wanted to share them with you. And I think some of these things are going to be applicable to everybody. Some of them are going to be really educational and something that you can take and apply right now. Some of them are not going to apply to some of you, and you're going to kind of have to decide which season of business that you're in and which of these 5 things, if any, would be a valuable change to make in your business to raise your prices or add value or increase your client experience. And those are the goals with all of these changes I'm making. So I'm excited to talk through them. There's going to be 5. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you that there is a gift for you in the description down below. One of the things I'm going to talk about today is my senior style guide, which is the document that I send to all of my senior clients after they book me to help them prepare for their senior experience. So it gives them some tips for what to wear, hair and makeup, what to do with their nails, what to expect, the importance of being on time, those types of things. Just kind of educates my client on everything that they need to know about their experience with me for their senior portraits. And you can find a link to that in the description down below. I'm letting you download my version of it 100% for free so that you can use it as inspiration in your business to create your own and see exactly what I say to my clients to help them better prepare for their senior session with me. But let's go ahead and dive into those 5 changes that I am currently making in my business. And just for context, I like to typically do an overhaul of my service side of my photography business in the off season, which is December, January, February timeframe for me in the South. But I found myself midway through the year this year, we're working on some educational products for photographers that I'm so excited about, but it kind of led me down this rabbit hole of wanting to do some revamping and some changes in the front side of my senior portrait business, the service side of my business. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first change that I'm making is going to seem kind of obvious to some of you, but it's really important for me to touch on, and that is that I am changing and increasing my pricing. And I think that this is actually a really popular question that I get asked about the pricing for my business, how I determine what to price my senior portraits, and when I know that it's time to raise my prices. And the reason that I'm raising my prices now, aside from all the craziness happening in the economy right now, is because I raise my prices solely based on supply and demand. And the more I add into my business, the more education I offer, the more things I commit myself to, the more inquiries that I'm getting, I can't change the amount of time that I have to offer, right? And I don't have an associate team of photographers that shoot underneath me. So if I can't physically show up for the session, then it can't happen. That's a really limited resource, right? My time is very, very limited. So I increase my pricing based on supply and demand. If I'm getting more inquiries and more bookings than I can keep up with, because I'm only one person with a certain amount of time available, I raise my prices. And I actually haven't raised my senior prices in probably 2 years now. They've kind of been at a point where I've plateaued, and I'm very comfortable with that. I've plateaued where I've had a really even balance of bookings. And so like the number of people inquiring and the number of people booking are at a happy place where I am content with the amount of money that I'm making. But a really good problem to have is that I have slowly been getting more and more inquiries as my business gets more acclimated in the Charleston and Savannah markets. So I've decided to increase my prices by a few $100s because I want to take fewer senior sessions this year. Along with that, the second change that I'm making is now that I have been living in Savannah for a full year now, almost a full year now, I have decided to create a travel package for my seniors that are in the Charleston area. So to this point, I have been charging one flat rate for my seniors and just eating the cost of the 4-hour round trip to get to Charleston from Savannah, because I knew that naturally it was going to take me a little bit of time to get acclimated to the Savannah market and start consistently booking seniors in the new area that I was in. So instead of increasing my Charleston prices and charging travel that would be pretty expensive out the gate, I decided to just eat that cost for a little while so that I could build my market in both places. And now it's built up to the point that I feel comfortable charging a premium for my time to get to and from Charleston. So here's what that looks like. Here is the pricing page that I send my seniors when they inquire with me. It talks a little bit about the experience, the steps of what to expect, why I love seniors so much. They can see some recent senior sessions on the blog, and then it breaks down these 2 senior packages. So if you're a senior in the Savannah area, there's no additional travel costs. It's $1,200 flat rate. That includes the gallery of high resolution digital images. The only difference in the Charleston session is an additional $300 for my time to get back and forth from Charleston. So that's a pretty big change for me because I have not, again, haven't increased my prices for quite a while because I've been in such a season of transition, moving from Virginia to Charleston to Savannah. I've now been in the South, so in the Charleston, Savannah area for about 3 years. And I feel like I'm finally at a point where I am integrated enough in the market to feel really confident about this price increase. So those are the 2 big changes in terms of my pricing that I am making in my business for this year. The third change that I'm making is very specific. It's very niche, and it's kind of going to seem like it's not important, but I think it's making a really big difference in my clients' first impressions of their digital galleries. So backstory, what I've been doing to this point is that I just have the digital images in my client's final gallery in chronological order. So the first thing they see is the first picture that we took at the session, and they can scroll to see the full shoot in chronological order. What I am changing and doing differently now is that I am curating what I'm calling the highlights or Hope's favorites or the best of the best images at the very top of my senior galleries. I've always done this for my wedding clients, but for some reason I just never carried it over into the senior portrait side of my business. So what I'm doing now is curating a really beautifully displayed set of the best images so that my clients are seeing those photos at the top of their gallery as their first impression of their experience with me. So try to visualize the excitement of getting the email with the link to their final gallery from me. They click it, and then they see this beautifully curated, almost magazine-worthy set of images that I have taken the time to intentionally curate so that their first impression is that they're seeing the best of the best. So here's what that looks like. I use CloudSpot for my client galleries. If you have been following me for any amount of time, you've probably seen me talk about that. I have tons of videos about CloudSpot on this channel. I'll link my referral link down below as well. I could not say enough incredible things about them, but I basically just favorite the images that are my best of the best, my top images, and then I randomize the order of them so that they immediately get this first impression of the feel and the aesthetic of their entire shoot. So these are the best of the best in terms of the way that my client looks. She looks her best in these photos, but also technically the best of the best, right? The best cropping, the best framing, the best settings, the best light. They're really just seeing the best of the best top images here. But the way that this works on the back end is, this is the back end of CloudSpot. Brooke's gallery, the full images just from start to finish are right here, right? So these are just in chronological order here. What I do is I hold Command or Control and I select, I'm just doing this randomly for the sake of time, but I select the best of the best images that I would like to see in that curated top of the gallery. We'll just select 6 here. And then I'm going to copy them. And then I'm going to create a new folder called Hope's Favorites, and it just copies those images up into a separate folder. I move that folder up to the top, and then I go to Edit Order, and I hit randomize. And randomize just throws them all in a random order. And then I like to drag and drop the ones that I truly believe are the best of the best to give it a little personal touch of putting them in the order of how I'd like them to view them. But I've found that it really gives my clients this incredible first impression right out the gate. And I'm actually getting more positive testimonials since doing this, which I have found really interesting. And if you haven't watched any of my other CloudSpot videos, one of the ways that I do this, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the gallery, is it lets me add a call to action and a link at the very bottom of all my client galleries. So this is where I collect my reviews. My Wi-Fi is clearly being slow. It's not loading this gallery, but you can click here to write a review on my Google My Business. So you can link anywhere that you'd like there and add any call to action you want. If you prefer them follow you on social media or email you to select their prints or final proofs, you can do that here too. But I have found that it is incredible at increasing the number of positive testimonials that I'm getting from my clients. The fourth change that I am making is one that you are probably sick of hearing. If you are in business and you have social media to promote your business and you've been trying to grow a platform on Instagram, but I am conforming to the power of Reels. And I wish that I didn't feel like I had to, but at this point, it is impossible to argue that Reels are the most powerful way to build an audience on social media right now. If you are looking to expand your audience and reach new people that don't already follow you, Reels and TikTok are the best way to do it. So the fourth change that I am making is that I am making an intentional effort to create a reel from every single one of my sessions. One reel at minimum, 2 or 3 ideally. And the way that I'm doing that is that I used to, again, if you've watched any of my videos, you might have heard me talk about this. I used to take the time to take iPhone photos and short video clips at every senior session to do a recap on my Instagram stories to build engagement and excitement for the sneak peeks that I post the night of the session. But now what I'm doing is instead of doing a combination of photos and short video clips that were intended for Instagram stories, I am intentionally taking longer video clips with the intention of making a reel. So I take long video clips at every senior session and I create a reel that is typically the behind the scenes videos with the final images that I do alongside a trending sound. Sometimes I'll mix in something a little bit different, but at baseline, my goal is to create at least one reel from every shoot that shows the behind the scenes and the final images. You can follow me on Instagram at Hope Taylor Photography if you want to see those in action, but it is making a really big difference in my following and in my social media engagement these days. And lastly, the fifth change that I'm making that I am so excited about, you heard me mention my senior style guide at the beginning of this video. You can download a free copy of it in the description. But what I'm doing, my senior style guide as it is right now has served me so well for the last 8, 9, almost 10 years. I have decided that I want to completely revamp that senior style guide and add 10 times the amount of information to it that it currently has, because alongside increasing my prices, I don't necessarily believe that in order to increase your prices, you have to change or increase the deliverables in your photography packages. That is not always true. However, now that I'm in the Charleston market, and I have been for a while, and I'm getting accustomed to the seniors that I work with in this area, I am learning that they take their senior portraits very seriously, and I love that about them. My ideal clients here in Charleston and Savannah love to shop for their outfits. They love to put a ton of time into preparing. They love to customize the session and go above and beyond to incorporate props and florals and the pink figgy car that you've seen me photograph. So because of that, I want to match that energy and meet them in the middle by providing a senior style guide that helps them to achieve that in a way that I know will be photography friendly. So I am completely restructuring my senior style guide. It's now going to be in the 40 to 50 page range. I'm sharing everything from where to shop, a complete walkthrough of what to expect at their session, how posing works, ideas for customizing the shoot, ideas for props to go above and beyond, visuals of all of the locations options to really help them plan out an aesthetic for the entire shoot from start to finish. It's going to be pretty grandiose compared to the one that I currently have, and I'm really excited to share that with you. A little birdie told me that you may or may not be able to buy a version of it to customize in your business, and I can't wait for you to see it. So guys, those are the 5 changes that I am making to my senior photography business right now in 2022. Let me know in the comments below if you found any of this helpful, if you're going to make any changes, if you've been doing anything in your business that has been increasing your bookings or that you've seen success with. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday. My goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers. We'll see if we can do it soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.